in society, discipline gets results. Results are quantitative. I've been able to find myself a girlfriend. I've been able to lose 10 kilos. I've been able to make $1 million. I've been able to invest and get 3 investment properties. And it's so externally based, and the measurements are so obvious. They're so physical. I was single. Now I'm in a partnership. Okay. So that's obvious. But when you're doing this deep inner work, why are we doing it? It's because we've tapped into the fact that the inner work is not, doing the external stuff is not going to actually make you any more fulfilled. And so we actually get into this path to change the inner experience of life. And Sadhguru has this beautiful quote. There's this is what he says, I'm paraphrasing, but something like, there's 2 important aspects to life: big action and inner experience. But if the more that you take big action without the inner experience, the level of suffering exponentially grows. In other words, like, if you don't take much action and don't have much inner work, you'll be suffering less than someone that's taken an enormous amount of action and hasn't done the inner work. And I can attest to that, because having created a lot of external success before I started doing the inner work, I felt so much pain. I just didn't have the capacity to understand what was happening. And I would distract, and it built up until it erupted. And I realized that my whole reality was built on insecurity. And I just had 10 tons of suffering in my system that had been unprocessed. And by gosh, it was difficult. This is why celebrities end up on drugs. This is why famous people, so many people that are in positions that we celebrate in society, are in rehab or struggling with alcoholism or addicted to painkillers, because they've achieved everything that they got told were going to make them happy, and they're feeling worse than ever. Right? So you have pursued this spiritual path because you know, and you sense somewhere in there, you've experienced enough pain to go, no, the inner experience is damn important. So you start doing psychotherapy, work with a psychotherapist, start doing breath work, start meditating, start spending more time in nature, start learning about yourself, start learning about what life and the universe is really about, the deeper truths. And it's very difficult to recognize the progress of that at times, because again, society is quantitative. Society is about more is better. Society is about externals. And so when we start taking our foot off the accelerator of the externals and we start putting it on the brakes and focusing on the internals, we're not driving as far with the externals. We're actually going to initially start to experience less external success. Less external success. And that can be really confronting, because that's all that your ego knows. That's all that you've been taught, that life is good. You're doing a good job if you've got good externals. And if you pause the externals and start focusing more internally, even though there's big transformation and it's important and it's meaningful and you are changing, it can be very difficult initially to recognize that progress, because it's qualitative, it's intangible. There are emotional factors. How you actually feel when you're having an interaction with someone is an example of what it looks like to be successful with this inner journey. And it is so difficult in what they call in Sanskrit Maya, which is illusion. It's so difficult not to be sold on the way that society paints life to be, and to actually prioritize fulfillment as your top priority. And so I'm just essentially pausing this podcast's life update of me to give you the transmission and to recognize you, celebrate you for saying, I actually care about my inner experience. I actually care about my inner experience. And as I was saying with a renovation, you might still be ripping walls out. You might still be breaking down, and that breakthrough hasn't come yet, but it's coming. If you're on this path, you are on a special path that everyone's moving towards in this lifetime or the next, or the one after, or the one after that. But if you have had the good fortune to realize that the reality of life goes deeper than validation and achievement, then you've won the lottery, essentially. And trust me when I say that you are in a special place. You're in a special place.